Welcome back to the Corporate Finance Academy. Today we are going to talk about NPV, and we're going to go through how you do NPV in Excel. So what we're going to go through here is what is NPV, why it exists. We're going to go through some building blocks to help you understand it better. We'll show you the formula. You'll see how boring it is. We're going to talk a little bit about how it works. We'll use a simple example and then a slightly less simple example. We'll go through the pros and cons of using NPV and some useful tips. Before we get into those details, the NPV can be used for a number of different things. You don't necessarily have to know how to calculate it by hand, like a lot of things you find in finance. You have to learn kind of how it works and why, and then you learn the Excel function in your set. You do, though, have to understand it in order to be dangerous enough to use it and interpret it. So NPV is going to tell you the present value of an investment or project at its required rate of return. And you're going to use this to compare projects or to evaluate, and you'll make a go or no-go decision as to whether you want to undertake something. Some building blocks. So the first thing you have to understand, a prerequisite, is time value of money. $1 today is worth more than $1 in the future. At 5% interest, $100 today is worth $105 in 1 year, right? You could take that $100 and you can invest it. Whereas if I told you I'd give you $100 next year, you would only have $100 in 1 year. That's the concept of time value of money. And I'm guessing most of you watching this kind of already understand that. The next thing is your discount rate. So you often hear things like WACC and hurdle rate. So discount rate can be different things. WACC, or weighted average cost of capital, is often used as a company's discount rate. And really it's what's needed to make a project worthwhile. The cost to pay for capital is what weighted average cost of capital is. So what does it cost you to get that capital? But it could also be something like a required return by investors. It could be the return you typically see on a project or something else. There's your formula. Honestly, you're going to see that in every textbook, but maybe I'm the only one, but I don't think anybody really gets much out of that unless you're a math major. So getting down to more nitty-gritty here, the NPV looks at a landscape of cash inflows and outflows over the life of the investment. And then it discounts those back to today. And what you're left with is what all those future cash flows are worth today, aka in the present, which is where we get the term net present value. Now I'll go through a simple example. And I get it's kind of boring, and all the numbers you'll see on the screen are a little bit boring, but let's say you have a $100,000 cash inflow in each of the next 7 years, and you have an 8% discount rate. In year one, what you're going to see is you have $1,000, you have present value of $1,000 at 8% for 1 year. You do your present value formula, or more likely you plug it in Excel, and you find that that's worth $925.93. And then you're going to do the same thing out for each year. So that's how you would kind of longhand do this. You would do your present value each year. And at the end, you're going to come and you're going to say the sum of all those present values of the $1,000 for 7 years is worth $5,206 today. Pretty simple. So now we're going to jump in and we're going to show you how to do that example in Excel. But we'll pause here. It's a confusing topic, so leave questions and comments with what you're struggling with or anything you'd like to have some additional clarification on. Okay, so here we are in Excel, and what you see is the same thing we had on the screen, $1,000 cash flow a year for 7 years with an 8% discount rate. So our NPV formula is very simple. So it's NPV, and then what you have to do is you have to enter the rate, and then what it wants you to do is just enter in the stream of cash flows. So in this, it's very simple. You enter that in, and you get your 5206. Okay, we got to step it up a little bit here. So a slightly less simple example. We are going to buy a laundromat. So we're going to add a few things in this purchase of this laundromat. An initial value or initial investment. We're going to have different values each year, not the same simple thing we had before. And we're going to have a terminal value. So we'll get to it. So here, what we're going to say is we're buying an existing laundromat for $294,500. And then we've got a list of the cash flows we anticipate over time and a discount rate of 12%. You'll also note this big value in year 7 of $330,000. That's our terminal value. So let's talk about that. So projects, as you plan them out or you try to forecast what they're worth, sometimes they go on indefinitely or sometimes they'll have an abrupt end. A terminal value is something you plug into the last year of your discounted cash flow model. That is usually either what an exit value would be, so meaning what the business would be worth if you actually sold that business, or it's the present value of all the rest of the future cash flows. So you can do this, you'll hear it called a perpetuity growth formula. A quick Google search will tell you how to do that. But for this example, we are going to use an assumption that we're selling the laundromat in year 7, and we're selling it for 3 times the annual cash flow. So we've got a cash flow of 110. We're going to say that we can sell the business for 3 times that, which is $330,000. So now let's look at how we would do this in Excel. Okay, so we have our initial investment of $294,500, and then we've got our cash flows that we're forecasting that we're going to make with this laundromat over the next 6 years. In year 7, we sell the business for $330,000, which is 3 times our annual cash flow. So to get the NPV, and there's going to be a little bit different, a small difference between what we did before. We're going to take our same rate, 12%, but we're actually going to take our cash flows in the out years, and then you want to add your initial investment, since that's not actually part of your future cash flows. So your answer you get is $216,389, which is your net present value for this investment in this laundromat. Okay, so when should you use NPV? So some different examples would be if you're deciding to purchase a new machine or a piece of equipment. Could be if you're evaluating an acquisition of another company. You might be comparing 2 projects that are the same size. You might be trying to decide if you want to buy a new piece of software or if you want to take on some new project. Now, as you think about NPV, like a lot of different tools for evaluation, there are pros and cons. So pros first, it's valuable to understand what the value of a company or project investment is. It factors in risk and trade-offs, and that's done through the discount rate and how you set that. It does capture time value of money, and it's a useful tool really that every finance person should be able to do easily. You know, sometimes I think about back to college or university, and they don't always give you stuff that you use every day in your day job, but NPV is certainly one thing you learn that is useful forever. For cons, you need a discount rate that makes sense in order for the result to make sense. You can only have one discount rate over the life of the investment. So if you're doing a 5, 10, 15-year investment, the formula doesn't really allow you to switch discount rates throughout. At the end of the day, you're still guessing what your future cash in and outflows are, so those are imperfect. And it's not great when you're evaluating projects of massively different sizes. So if I'm doing a real small project that only requires me $100 to get up and running, and my NPV is $200, that's hard to compare that to a project that would cost me $10,000 to invest to run, and my NPV is $600. So it's just not great for evaluating projects of different sizes. A few tips, tricks, and pointers to leave you with. The higher the NPV, the better the project in general. The higher the discount rate, the lower it's going to drive your NPV. It's saying you're requiring a higher return, so that's going to lower your NPV. An NPV of 0 does not mean there's no value to the project. It just means that your return is going to be equal to the discount rate that you've set. Cash flows in the early years matter far more than the out years. So you'll see if you had a 10-year project and you move some of the values in year 1 or 2, it affects your NPV greatly. Whereas if you move the values in year 9 or 10, it's not going to affect it so much. And decisions should not be based on NPV alone, just like anything. You want to make sure the project is consistent with what your company's trying to do and its strategy. You should use this along with IRR, payback. So that's it. That's our simple intro to NPV and tutorial on how to calculate it in Excel. We can make these Excel templates available if you need them. Hopefully this helps you understand it a little better, and feel free to leave questions, comments. Be sure to like or even dislike the video, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. And as always, if you have questions or requests for additional videos, leave them below. Thanks for your time, and we'll be back soon.